Yes, greetings to you and the best of, excuse me, salutations. There is I guess, a medical term used called um, depression. It's a very serious dis-ease, illness, to depress, as a ring to it in the manner in which it resonates. The term itself, like it is being tightly compressed together. Like being unable to breathe is like a suffocating or a smothering. Yes, airtight cage that no air is unable to come in. Meaning the living could be inhabitable or unhabitable, I should say. Unhabitable. Can vacillate up and down. I'm not trying to use these terms in a manner, in a way that would be used loosely. It's just how the term is resonating with me. Your energy is low. You become like suffering in despair, and which could make you disoriented and delusion. Depression of that which is depressing could be or wind up being fatal. And the attraction could be fatal. You develop a fatalistic attitude, which means that many think in terms of the worst, and that which is the worst is associated with that which is negative, and the preface the word negative is to negate access to, which means it is a question of accessibility, access to air, because you can't breathe. And you look at the creation with itself, it has to have a certain amount of oxygen, or has a certain amount of, the air has to be inhabitable to be able to breathe, inhale and exhale. The environment must be healthy and conducive to release the pressure being depressed. And in that depression, it has to do with one being able to fulfill, achieve his or her aspirations. You see, when inspirations come down, aspirations goes up. So one needs to be inspired, properly motivated, aspire to live life to be an inspiration to others. I had shared something before in regards with respect, because I am experiencing and have experienced and did not know it. That was one of the things that I was taught by my parents, which was to have respect. Respect for yourself, respect for your family, and respect for elders. Not to mention be mindful of respect for children. Because children learn in picture form, and that picture form becomes a meaning, that meaning become an emotion, then they act on it. Children learn by what they see. Somewhere down the line, I went wrong. I'm challenged by that today. Somewhere down the line, I had lost some respect for family. Upholding and protecting what they call the family name. Yeah, I'm reminded of a story about Frederick Douglass when he what was this? Not Frederick Douglass. It was a gentleman, Booker T. Washington. Yes. Um, he was talking about it. I forgot what his original name was, but he took on the name of Washington because the name of Washington gave him value. Because people are suffering from the value of self-worth, dignity. We were created noble and with dignity. And then you're dealing with self-respect. And that is to respect, of course, yourself. Not to be indecent or act indignant. Carry yourself and behave in a manner with dignity, with honor. And we're dealing with the respect for elders. I've done pretty good with that one, I must admit. But yet I'm still not satisfied. So one can never be satisfied when the environment and the conditions that exist and how we interact with one another is in a disrespectful manner. The soul is never satisfied. It sends a signal to the mind that it is not satisfied. But yet we cannot look for things that is on the outside to satisfy us. Those things which consume us, that intoxicate us, that we don't want to deal with this present world or reality that calls us to do harm rather than to do good. So the challenge is this: must overcome feelings of inadequacy. Yes, you are worthy. And you are by nature good. Yet you must cultivate, and we all must cultivate and be in an environment that cultivate, and in the right mindset that cultivate the goodness that's in us all. And we can make that transition of worthiness without having any doubt of our value here on this earthly plane of existence. And be mindful not to be burdened with myths. That which is contrary to one's nature, or that which is contradictory to nature. Some elaborately construct themselves, making people out to be more than what they are not. Some like to be on top and let others remain at the bottom. But yet remember, the bottom is the foundation. And if that foundation is not strong, then those that are at the top will collapse. But may that foundation become strengthened, and may that foundation become stronger when it comes to respect. And not doing so at your convenience, because it's convenient for you to be respectful at that particular point, in that particular place and time. It is always convenient to show and be and act respectful toward each other. And respect in the Latin sense is to look at the ability of a person to accept him or her as they are. It is to look at your ability, because it is in the potential that we have, that we are placed here to advance human excellence. I remember Frederick Douglass now, as he talked about his aunt. I think her name was Hester. And how the slave master was making advances at her, and she did not want his advances. She wanted to interact with the brother whom she had an attraction for, an affection for. She was prevented to do so, or that it was interrupted, and the slave master would beat her. Frederick saw that as sexual corruption, and he realized that the slave master relationship was one, at the core, was one of immorality. So that being the case, in the tradition of the people here, the descendants of those who were prisoners of war and who had become enslaved, it is being the more conscious of what is called America. And I'm not trying to get so far off course in regards to trying to be the more conscious of a nation if it has little or any conscience that remains. With its ability to do right for those who have been placed in the position of misfortune. Not at their own hands, but yet universally, humans have transgressed against themselves. Therefore, humanity has been bruised. Because people are only responding to the extent of the damage and the injury that has been done to his or her humanity. There are many intoxicants, power, prestige, wealth, illicit drug use, pharmaceutical or otherwise. They created this unhealthy environment of this disrespectful interaction in relationship one with another, which is improper, which is out of order. So I always say that we're suffering from SLD, a social learning disorder. When those have a relationship with the land, it helps develop their intellect. You can talk to George Washington Carver. So as I continue to hear the police siren on a consistent and continuing basis, and look at the dilapidation not only of certain communities, and see the strength or the differences between certain areas of community certain areas of community, whereas that seems more pleasant, more conducive to be around and live in than others. I say that it is a public health crisis. And then you can look at the thinking in the minds based upon the behavior that one is displaying and having discard for those who know that they are left behind or being sold cheap. What comes to mind, and you can ask Ralph Ellison when it comes to the invisible man. It seems as though that those who are so cheap are left behind. They seem as though that they are invisible, that you don't see them, that they do not exist, as if the unhealthy conditions does not exist. So there's a public health crisis. So we try to escape this reality by consuming intoxicants, by those who are intoxicated by money, greed, wealth, and power. So I say, in closing, be ye mindful that we not become consumed by toxins of society that puts us in a position to act ill will and hostile and disrespectful toward each other and the environment. Native Americans, ask them. They know about this. And anytime there is a social problem, it is due to a social illness. The